much. We may be seated. Honorable Janelle Matundu, Deputy Minister of International Relations and Trade, the Mayor of the town of Ongwediva, His Worship Tara Shalyefu, delegation from Limpopo Province, South Africa, our proud sponsors, FNB Namibia, represented by Mr. Otniel Ndevayele, agencies present, the esteemed business leaders here today, representatives of private sectors, development partners, members of the media, good afternoon. I think we can do much better than that. We are at the Ongwediva Trade Fair. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Absolutely. That's the energy that, of course, the Ongwediva Trade Fair has brought us. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Ministry of International Relations and Trade and the Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair, it is my great honor to welcome you to the OATF Business Forum 2025, held under the forum, under the theme, pardon me, Innovate, Connect, and Prosper, Building a Future Together. Now, this forum is an important platform where government, as well as business leaders and industry experts come together to share insights, unlock opportunities, and strengthen regional as well as international trade relations. Now, over the course of today's program, we will hear from leaders who are here present, as well as some of the presenters who will give us perspectives on growth, partnerships, as well as innovation. My name is Johnny Konja. I will be your Masters of Ceremony for this very short program, and we're also broadcasting live on NBC. Thank you so much once again for being with us. We have started a bit late. We promised to start earlier at 4 o'clock, but now we of course shifted it at 5, and we really apologize for keeping you here for a couple of minutes before we went live and before we started the program. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, can I please then help you with your applause, have the first presenter, or rather the welcoming remarks, and that will be done by Ms. Rebecca Hidulika, Chairperson of the Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair. A round of applause to her as we welcome her.
Honorable Janelle Matundu, Deputy Minister of International Relations and Trade, delegation from Limpopo Province, our proud sponsor FNB Namibia, represented by Mr. Otniel Ndevayele, the Mayor and Deputy Mayor of Ongwediva Town, agencies, esteemed business leaders, representative of the private sectors, developmental partners that are present here today, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair. I was told that I need to welcome you, so this is my welcome to you. Welcome to Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair. It is my privilege to open this business forum with the welcoming remarks, convened in partnership with Ongwediva Trade Fair Society, Namibia Trade Forum, and the Ministry of International Relations and Trade. Your presence signals confidence in the opportunities that Ongwediva Trade Fair and Namibia at large offer to investors, innovators, and entrepreneurs. Thank you for making the time to be here. I remember it was in the year 2023, myself, Mr. Damien Ewumbo, we traveled to Windhoek to meet the Namibia Trade Forum. We had one vision. We wanted to expand Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair with more opportunities in alignment with our mandate, that is to promote trade and to accelerate trade opportunities. So we visited, at that time it was Ms. Pinto, Stacy Pinto, with her team, Janine, and we conveyed to them this vision that we had, that we don't want Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair to be just a platform for exhibition. We wanted to make more meaningful connections, particularly to see how we can accelerate trade. From those conversations, we then visited Mayor Lucia at that time, who was the Minister of Industrialization and Trade, and she welcomed us with open arms, and she actually suggested that we need to have some sort of formal agreement to work together so that we can see how we can actually grow the Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair to become a bigger platform. And this is how Namibia Business Forum, Ongwediva, or rather, the Trade Fair Business Forum has been established. We then needed more partnerships and stakeholders on board. At that time, we were looking for someone who had our vision, and FNB came to mind. At that time, we spoke to, may his soul rest in peace, Mr. Inji, and we wanted to convey this message. It wasn't easy, you know how Inji was. So we had to back and forth communication. At the end of the day, they agreed. And I'm so proud to see this platform really growing, because at the time it was just a 3-hour exchanges of ideas, but today, especially today, it's a full day. Our vision is to grow this forum to not just a day or few hours. We're looking for multiple platform opportunities within the trade fair where we could really advance our agenda, that is trade promotion, not just nationally, regionally, but across internationally as well. And that is our vision. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for making time to be here. I'm looking forward to engage with all of you, with all the partners that are here present, our stakeholders, and I wish you a good day of communication, of networking, and please enjoy yourself, feel at home, feel welcome, relax. It's not, it's a dialogue just between us. Thank you very much and welcome once again.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hidulika, for welcoming us very warmly to this event. I think we also need to give a round of applause for having done such a great job hosting this event. I think it's fair to say the trade fair is, I think, one of the best events in the country. Can we agree to that? Yeah. Indeed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please, now we're just quickly going to move through the program, and next we are going to welcome His Worship, the Mayor of the town of Ongwediva, His Worship Tara Shalefu, to come and give us his statement. A round of applause to him as we welcome him.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ikonja, for calling me to the podium and to do the welcoming remark, to deliver the welcoming remarks. You know, Ms. Hidulika just welcomed the participant to this event, but not to the Ongwediva town. I'm the mayor of the town, and I need to do that. Otherwise, you will feel like, we are not fully welcomed here. Now, yesterday we had a very busy day here in Ongwediva. Had the official opening of this trade fair, graced by the presence of the president of the country, and all went well. And this evening again, we are here with this business forum. I would therefore like to take this opportunity again to welcome the Deputy Minister, Honorable Janelle Matundu, Deputy Minister of International Relations and Trade, the delegation from Limpopo Province, South Africa. We had a wonderful day with them yesterday. May I please again ask you to rise if you are in attendance, because you are so special. I know everybody is special, but you travel from far. My delegation from Limpopo, where are you? Yes, please. Good. We are happy to have you here again. Our proud sponsor, FNB Namibia, represented by Mr. Otiniel Ndevaele. Ndevaele, where are you? FNB. I don't, oh, you are the back. You should be somewhere. I need money, man. All right, thank you so much. Government agencies, esteemed business leaders, representative of private sectors, development partners, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. All right. And I always get consent when people are responding very low, as if we are mourning. Nobody has passed on. Good morning. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are we? Thank you so much. It is indeed both an honor and a privilege to rather address you this evening as the mayor of the town on this annual business forum convened under the tripartite partnership of Ongwediva Trade Fair Society, the Namibian Trade Forum, and the Ministry of Trade and International Relations and Trade. Therefore, on behalf of Ongwediva Town Council, the resident of this town, and indeed on my own behalf, I would therefore like to extend to you all a warm welcome. The Business Forum has become one of the most important highlights of the Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair calendar. It is not merely a meeting of minds. It is a platform that facilitates robust dialogue among policymakers, entrepreneurs, financiers, and investors. It is here where government and the private sector meet with one purpose: to explore opportunities, address challenges, and chart a collective path towards sustainable economic growth. And that's very, very important. We need to grow the economy of this country, of our countries, of Southern Africa. And that can only happen if all of us can put minds together. The chosen theme for this year, Innovation, Connect, Prosper, Building a Future Together, is both visionary and timely. Innovation has become the cornerstone of competitiveness, not only for large corporations, but also for small and medium enterprises that form the backbone of our economy. To connect is to build bridges between nations, between businesses, and between communities. And to prosper is the natural outcome of such collaboration when it is grounded in a shared values, mutual respect, and a sustainable development. And truly I'm saying we need to continue connecting, networking, engaging each other. We are one. I'm now talking in the presence of the Deputy Minister responsible for international relations. Last year, I had an opportunity to visit Belgium. 1 hour I was in Belgium, I went to Holland, I went to Germany, and there was no, you could not realize that you cross the border, you are in a different country. And here we are asking each other, even visas, all that, and making things difficult. Deputy Minister. So these are some of the things that we need to look at as Africans. We need to connect serious and remove some of these barriers as African, as business partners, within the country, within the SADC region, and as African. Ongwediva is proud to serve as the host of this engagement. Over the years, our town has steadily transformed into a commercial hub for northern Namibia, linking local enterprises with regional and international markets. The Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair has been instrumental in providing a platform for both established firms and the startup to showcase their product, the product and services, while forums such as these business symposiums deepen the dialogue that is necessary to unlock long-term growth. As the mayor of the town, I wish to highlight 3 key areas that are particularly important for us here in Ongwediva and in Namibia at large. And I really want to emphasize this one. Number one, it is crucial that SMEs are equipped with the tools, financing, and the knowledge to scale up. This requires a joint effort between financial institutions, government support programs, and the platforms such as this one, Business Forum. Two, the collaboration between Namibia and our counterpart in Limpopo province is a demonstration of how cross-border relations can unlock opportunities. From agro-processing to manufacturing, cosmetic, and textile, the potential for mutual beneficial trade is immense. Three, economic growth must not only be about statistics, it must translate into jobs, skills development, and improved livelihoods of our people. Forums such as this one must therefore remain focused on ensuring that no one is left behind in the pursuit of prosperity. And that's very, very important. All of us need to grow in terms of putting something on tables that can sustain us. We, as business people, we need to grow, we need to change strategies. We don't need to be left behind. Ladies and gentlemen, as we deliberate tonight, I urge all participants to go beyond the exchange of ideas and to focus on forging concrete outcome engagement or agreement, partnership, and a project that will endure long after this forum has concluded. Let us live here with a renewed sense of purpose, inspired to innovate, determined to connect, and committed to building prosperity for all of us. I wish you a productive deliberation and a meaningful networking. May this forum continue to grow in stature, impact, and influence in the years ahead. And I really want to thank you and wish you a blessed evening and a fruitful engagement. Continue engaging, continue networking. You are here, you are safe, you are in Ongwediva. Thank you so much.
Another round of applause to His Worship, the Mayor. I think His Worship, I think I need to see your passport quickly. You mentioned some very, very interesting travels there, but thank you so much for your leadership and of course, leading this beautiful town of Ongwediva and everything that you've done. So please, another round of applause to His Worship. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we now turn to our official sponsor of the Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair Business Forum, the First National Bank, who have been driving and have been a driving force for promoting SME development and inclusivity across our nation, ensuring that all businesses, or rather from all sizes, are supported through their journey of growth and innovation. To deliver this sponsor statement, please help me welcome Ms. Mira Kahingunga, the Regional Manager for F&B Commercial. A round of applause to her as we welcome her.
Honorable Jenely Matundu, Deputy Minister of International Relations and Trade, His Worship Tara Shalyefu, Madam Rebecca Hidulika, Chairperson of the Ongwediva Trade Fair, delegation from Limpopo Province, distinguished guests, fellow entrepreneurs, and partners in business, all protocol observed, a heartily good evening. On behalf of FNB Namibia, I'm deeply honored to deliver this address. Over the past 2 days, I have had the pleasure of walking through the exhibition halls, meeting entrepreneurs and engaging with innovators whose stories reflect what can only be defined as the true spirit of Namibian entrepreneurship. The Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair has long been a platform for entrepreneurs to showcase their talent, their products, and their dreams. Today, this platform has grown in such an extraordinary way that people across the continent have come and have marked it as a very important event to attend. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not by mistake. It is proof of the immense potential of Northern Namibia. It is no longer a place of what could be, it is a place of what is. It is a reminder that big dreams, when supported by strong networks, can grow into powerful institutions. After all, this event was once just an idea, a far-fetched dream, but it became a reality because people dared to leverage their networks, to collaborate, and to connect. As author Porter Gale reminds us, your network is your net worth. For entrepreneurs, this could not be truer, because when we talk about entrepreneurship, it's easy to think about business plans, capital, or products and services, but the reality is this. More often than not, success lies in the relationships we build, the partnerships, the mentors, the customers, and the peers who walk with us on this journey. This truth resonates with us as a bank too. Without people sharing their ideas, we would not be able to design solutions that truly serve entrepreneurs. Without trusted referrals, we would not enjoy the reputation that we, as FNB Namibia, have today. And without the vision of the Trade Fair Society, we would not be celebrating the strong partnerships we share with them. The same applies in business. Many of the success stories we celebrate in Namibia did not happen in isolation. They happened because somebody met somebody. A seller found a distributor, a farmer partnered with a processor, a designer met an investor. That meeting, it's that handshake, that conversation became the spark that changed everything. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of networking. In his remarks at the opening ceremony of our Ongwediva Trade Fair yesterday, our business banking head, Mr. Verona Shinyemba, reminded us that this year's theme, which is Innovate, Connect and Prosper, building a future together, could not be more fitting. I share the same sentiments because the trade fair has indeed become more than an exhibition. It has become a space where we connect, share our ideas, and boldly reach for the future. But let me take a step further. Connection must be an intentional thing. This business forum exists because the Trade Fair Society saw a need to deeper engagement. And they responded by creating an additional space where businesses and communities can engage, learn, and grow together. So let us use this opportunity today to form partnerships here that will carry our business beyond Ongwediva, beyond Namibia, and into the wider African market. And so I would like to challenge you today, before the fair ends, make at least one meaningful connection, not just a casual exchange of business cards, but a real conversation about collaboration. Ask yourself, how can I partner with this person? How can our business grow together? How can we create value, not just for ourselves, but for our communities at large? Here today, we have access to key players from the African Continental Free Trade Area, the Ministry of International Relations and Trade, the Namibian Trade Forum as well. This is your opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to explore the vast potential of ACFTA and to connect with stakeholders from across the continent. But to benefit, you must first take the first step to build a relationship. Fellow business owners, entrepreneurship is not a solo journey. It is a collaborative journey of ideas, partnerships, and of networks. If we embrace the spirit of connection here, this year's trade fair will be remembered as the moment new partnerships were born that changed the course of industries, communities, and our nation. So let us leave today not only inspired, but determined to connect, because in connection lies our strength, our progress, and our shared prosperity. I thank you.
Thank you so much. A bigger round of applause to her, Ms. Kahingunga, for a very great speech, as well as your commitment to supporting business and trade in Namibia. Ladies and gentlemen, earlier on, I believe for some of us who were present in the venue, we saw a very talented young man who was serenading us here earlier. And I would just like now to call him on to actually come and show his talent and show us what actually Ongwediva has when it comes to entertainment. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause to Fabrice. Thank you so much, Fabrice, for that wonderful performance. He is also here to do business. In fact, it is the Business Forum, and I'm taking his orders, so if you want to book him, I'll be doing that for him. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to move on to our very important part of the program this afternoon, and we are going to invite the Deputy Minister of International Relations and Trade, Honorable Janali Matundu, to deliver her statement and also introduce, or rather to give her statement, of course, on behalf of the ministry or the country at large. Let's give her the biggest round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Director of Proceedings, Your Worship Tara Shalefu, Mayor of Ongwediva Town, Ms. Rebecca Hindulika, Chairperson of the Ongwediva Trade Fair and Business Forum, distinguished guests and business leaders from Libobo, South Africa, the official sponsor of the Ongwediva Trade Fair and Business Forum, represented by Master Verenes Shinyemba, Head of Business Banking and Public Sector, FNB Namibia. Ms. Kahingunga, your presence is also recognized. Master Odnil Creativayele, FNB SME Business Development Manager. Ms. Victoria Weyulu, Senior Manager, Trade Facilitator, Key Instruments for Private Sector. Ms. Rosalia Hayter, Policy Analyst, Ministry of International Relations and Trade, the National Trade Portal. They will be giving us the very beautiful presentations. Master Robert Gaveto, NTF Senior Policy Analyst, Northern Namibia's Trade Potential, Senior Government Official, present here tonight, Captain of Industries, the private sectors and business communities, members of the media, in particular the NPC and other media houses. Our audience following online through various platforms, we recognize your presence. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Distinguished guests, it is an honor to join you at this year's Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair Business Forum, a gathering that has over the years proven itself to be a vital platform for fostering economic dialogue, building partnerships, and showcasing Namibia's vast potential. The Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair is more than an exhibition. It is a meeting point for entrepreneurs, investors, policymakers, and the broader business community. It is here that ideas are exchanged, opportunities are explored, and lasting collaborations are forged, all with the shared goals of shaping a brighter economic future for Namibia and our region, the African region. Namibia's journey towards sustainable economic growth requires us to strengthen and expand our local value chains. We must drive industrial growth that not only create jobs, but also enhances our resilience in a rapidly changing global economy. Distinguished guests, our exports competitiveness depends on our ability to meet internationally quality standards, to innovate and to add value to our raw materials. We have been listening times and times to Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, to one of her quotes, quote and unquote, that said, our collective aspirations is to add value to our natural resources, diversify our economy, create jobs, and uplift every Namibian. Distinguished guests, this is how we move from being simply a supplier of raw materials to becoming a producer of finished goods that carry the pride made in Namibia brand across the world. Small and medium enterprises, especially those led by the youth and women, we have heard again when during Her Excellency's inaugural message yesterday that 60% of the exhibitors are represented by the youth and women. So our role as government is to ensure that they can access markets regionally and internationally, unlocking their potential as key players in our national developmental agenda. Furthermore, in advancing regional trade integration under the African Continental Free Trade Area, the agreement offers a historic opportunity to reshape Africa's economic landscape, and Namibia must be ready to take its place at the forefront of this transformation. The AFCFTA gives us access to a market of over 1.3 billion people, and it offers us the chance to diversify our economy, strengthen regional value chains, and improve trade facilitation. This will require investments in cross-border infrastructure, efficiency, logistics systems, and harmonized regulations that make it easier to do business across the continent. Distinguished guests, I am pleased to say that Namibia has already taken steps to align her policies and institutions with the requirements of the AFCFTA so that we can reap the full benefits of regional integration. Following the launch of the trading under the AFCFTA on the 30th June 2025 in Swakopmund, exports should scale up production for continental support. Therefore, I want to see more consignments leaving Namibia on a daily basis under the AFCFTA. In the areas of developmental partners, Namibia is cooperating with international partners, investors, and development agencies so we can secure the resources and expertise needed to drive our developmental agenda. But this must be done responsibly, ensuring that investments are sustainable, inclusive, and aligned with our Vision 2030 and the 6th National Development Plan. On empowering the private sector, the government recognizes the private sector as the engine of growth. Our responsibility is to create a conducive environment where businesses can strive through policy reforms, reduce barriers to trade, and promote innovation and entrepreneurship. We must also ensure that all regions and communities are part of this journey. This economic development cannot be confined to urban centers alone. It must be inclusive, equitable, and representative of our entire nation. Distinguished guests, the future we seek will not build itself. It will be the product of coordinated, determined action across all sectors of our society. Hence, I call on all stakeholders here today to join forces in shaping a resilient, inclusive, and forward-looking business opportunities, the one that not only responds to the challenges of today, but also anticipates the opportunities of tomorrow. Distinguished guests, before I conclude my speech, the theme of this year's Business Forum focused on innovation, connect, and prosper, building a future together for a thriving business ecosystem and sustainable economic growth, which is not just a slogan, it is a call to action. Therefore, let us innovate by embracing new ideas and technologies. Let us connect by building strong networks and partnerships. Ms. Kaingunga spoke of that trading requires relations. We are here to help out through the Africa Free Continental Trade Area. To our small and medium enterprises, I say, this is your moment. Platforms such as the Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair exists for you to showcase your potential, engage with markets, and drive our economy forward. You are the heartbeat of Namibia's business sector, and your success is our collective success. I thank you very much for your kind attention.
A big round of applause to Honorable Matundu, Deputy Minister of International Relations and Trade. Thank you so much for your strong speech. I'm sure the message and the call to action has been heard. And of course, we hope that all businesses and other agencies that are here will of course do that. And of course, make sure that all businesses grow and also help one another. Ladies and gentlemen, before we dive to the more technical part of this program, which is the presentations being done by very important people here in our midst today, I'd like to call on Fabrice one more time just to get us ready for that very part. And just to remind all of us that we are also going to be able to engage with the presenters here, so you are able then to ask your questions at the end of every presentation. Please, a round of applause to Fabrice for another performance. Absolutely. Thank you so much once again, Fabrice, for that wonderful performance. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for us to move to another important part of the program, and we're going to have our first presentation now. Remember that we are going to have a chance to engage, ask questions, or even share recommendations from the various topics that we are going to be presenting here today. So please help me welcome Mr. Othniel Greitendewaele from FNB, who is responsible for SME business development as the manager there. Please, a round of applause to him as we welcome him on stage. Mr. Othniel, is he around? Oh, wonderful.
What's up?
What's up?
Cool, man. Hello.
Hi, George.
What's up?
What's up?
Cool, man. Hello.
Yes, thank you.
Doctor, how are you? How are you? Wonderful, wonderful.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I know my name was called out a million times. I am around. I'm just busy running things. I'm going to stand on the protocol that has already been observed, but I want to make special recognition to the minister, the deputy minister rather, His Worship the Mayor, the regional commercial manager. Thank you for being part of this business summit. And then I think to the general attendants, thank you for coming. We had an insightful one in the morning, but it's even much more insightful to see a bigger crowd this evening. My name has been said a lot of times. My name is Othniel. I look after SME development for First National Bank. My responsibility tonight is very simple but critical. I'm here to talk about what FNB can offer our commercial clients, specifically our SME clients. I have a couple of my colleagues in attendance, so when we get to network, please engage with us. Let us know what your pain points have been. Do suggestions with us and tell us where we can improve. But you're also welcome to tell us what we have been doing great. Even that is welcome. I'm going to get right into it. I think everybody would agree with me that technically we're the best bank in Namibia. Maybe even Africa. And when I get to that, we have the strongest presence in SADC. We are penetrating a lot more areas around Africa. And I know there's a delegation from Limpopo here. And that just explains to you how serious we are about building synergies, about taking over the African continent in terms of trade. But as you can see, we are all over the Southern Africa, apart from Zimbabwe, for obvious reasons. We are penetrating West Africa. We have representation in China and Mumbai, India. But I think we can all agree that the most important thing about First National Bank is that you always have FNB at the palm of your hands, as long as you have a phone or a device. Wherever you are in the world, even if you travel to Mars and you have access to your phone, you will be able to bank with First National Bank. We can agree that our digital platforms are world-class. We can agree that it's seamless, it's accessible, and it's convenient. Any time of the day, night, you can send an e-wallet, you can send a pay to sell, you can buy airtime, and you can look at your balance. What is also beautiful about that specific one is that when you access our digital platform via your app, you are not charged any data. So you access that data free. It's absolutely free, and I believe that it's important that you know that. The next time you access your app, even if you don't have data, you put on your mobile data on, you will be able to transact through the FNB app. So that's First National Bank, that is our presence. We are everywhere, but if you want to be with us everywhere, make sure you have your app, make sure you can access our platforms through digital platforms. I'm going to move on to the next slide. What I want to talk about today is what our value proposition is made of, what our offering speaks about. So our offering comes into 3 legs. We have the transactional leg, which I'm going to speak about now. We have the investment leg, the insure, and the lending leg. So I'm going to speak about that. I know we'll have a lot of questions surrounding lending, financing, and funding. My team is here. We are happy to engage you on all issues pertaining to that specific value proposition offering. So what I've spoken about in the afternoon, or rather this morning, was about encouraging businesses, startups, and MSMEs to formalize their businesses. And the importance of that is when you formalize your business, you have a clear distinct between your personal dealings and finances and that of a business. Even if you are a single-run business owner, it's important, if you need to, pay yourself a salary, do some drawings, pay yourself a dividend, but there should be a distinct between business account and Otiniel's account. That is how you start to run a business. What's also important is that when you formalize your business, for you to eventually be able to access financing, not just via FNB, but any financial institution, it starts by creating a transactional account. Now at First National Bank, I pride myself into informing you that we have one of the best transactional account offerings. It comes with a lot of freebies, and what I've also emphasized earlier in the morning session was that our accounts are tiered. We will not give an MSME an account that is held by Telecom, right? So an MSME will have an SME account, which is appropriate to their turnover, which is appropriate to the money they make, in some instances also the industries they play. And that is important because we recognize that You are still growing, you are still starting. And at any point when you get to a level of a bigger corporate, we are more than delighted to upgrade your account to that level. But we recognize that you are starting off, you are trying to make a living in most instances, and that's why we give you an account appropriate to your turnover. So that account comes now with a lot of freebies. The first thing is you get a dedicated relationship manager. If you open your account in Ndangwa branch, there is a business manager in Ndangwa branch who you can speak to in coloration to all your needs and desires for your business account. I think one thing we have done correctly at FNB Commercial is we have decentralized majority of our functions. So to get world-class service, you don't need to go to Windhoek. Your account doesn't need to be in Windhoek branch to get world-class service. So an Alan Matengu in Ondangwa can give you the same service that you can get in Windhoek. So wherever you open your account, you get the same treatment. There could be isolated cases, but the objective is you get the same treatment wherever it is that you have opened your account. And that's why we have decentralized our business managers into the branches. So this account comes with a lot of things. You have free email statements, you have free in-contact, and you have access to savings and investment instruments. So that's the start for you to eventually be able to access any sort of financing. You need to start with a transactional account. You need to deposit your revenue into that transactional account. You need to create a track record so that eventually we can look back and say, you started your account 5 years ago, your performance has been to this extent, and now we are comfortable to extend credit to you. I'll be around at the network session. We can further engage if you want to speak anything concerning our transactional banking offerings. I'll move to the next slide. Second important to our transactional value proposition. So, and I think sometimes there's a misconception about saving and investing. And this part about our value proposition is one of the most important. No matter how much you make, it's important that you save a little. You can be saving for a rainy day or saving for an instance where you need some level of collateral, then you have some. But we have divided our investments in what we deem appropriate. You can see that there are 1, 2, 3 tiers or levels of investing. I hope the screen is at least a little bit clear. But if you want more information, we are here present at the trade fair. You can come to our booth and we are more than welcome to share more information around what I'm presenting tonight. So the first part of our value proposition on the invest pillar is we want you to save for instances where you want to have liquid access to your cash, right? So that would come in the form of a call account, a savings pocket. You are saving, you are not sure what you are saving for, but you want to put something aside, and you want to be able to access it when you need it. So that's the first tier, and a typical example here would be a call account or a savings pocket. The second tier is you are saving for something planned or expenses that you expect in the future. Let's say you plan to expand in December and you want to be prepared then. We will give you, for example, a notice deposit account. So this account or this tier is not liquid, it's notice, but you can still access your funds. But the first one is a bit more liquid than the second one. So the third one is fixed. You are saving for something very important. You want to buy a fleet of vehicles for your car rental company, and you want to do it in December next year, and you know if I save 10,000 every now and then or every month, I'll be able to reach that milestone in December. So this one is fixed, and we want you to be committed to a fixed investment when you embark on that journey. But you are welcome to choose which specific investment account you require. The rates may differ. And our consultants are also here on the trade fair, or when you go in the branches, they are well equipped to explain to you the importance of each tier and the appropriation of each account in each tier. So if you are curious enough, we can engage further. Like I said, I'm still here. My colleagues are also here. I'm going to introduce them a bit later so that you can understand what I was talking about. I'll then move on to the most critical one. This is about lending, financing, and funding. Now, we had a couple of challenging questions in the morning session around lending and access to financing, especially for MSMEs. And if you track back to what I've been speaking about, is the first thing you do is formalize your business. And I guess at this point, I will say formalize your business, register with the relevant authorities, BIPA, NamRA, Social Security, open your transactional account, save a little bit, and create a track record. When you come to the bank, you have gotten out that big tender, you want project financing. When you have done the last three I've spoken already, it becomes easier for the bank to assess your application. It becomes comfortable for the bank to extend that credit to you. Obviously, each case is specific to its own. My case will not be like yours. I might have a different level of collateral, but it's important to start. You need to start with a transactional account. You need to separate your affairs, personal business. You need to formalize your entity so that the comfort of us as a bank is at a level where we are able to extend credit to you. Now, we extend credit in all forms. We can give you an overdraft. We have data financing. We have asset-based financing. We are developing select invoice discounting. We can extend a business loan for you to start your business. Like I said, there was a question asked earlier in the first engagement, and it was around that the banks do not want to extend credits to business owners. It's not that we don't want. We have a responsibility. We are funding or extending credit under regulation. And I've also indicated in the past presentation that the credit we are extending to business owners, it's your money, it's depositors' money, it's shareholders' money. So we need to lend responsibly. That is why we always say terms and conditions will apply, but the bank welcomes you to apply and to present your proposals. We will assess your application. If there's viability, we are more than happy to extend credit to you. I've also indicated that for the MSMEs and the smaller businesses, we are rolling out what we call scored credit, right? If you've done the things I've said right, you have a transactional account, you are banking your money daily or monthly or weekly, whichever your frequency is, we are scoring you to see how much you qualify for based on your behavior in your account. And if you qualify for an overdraft or a smart spender credit card, we will give you a call and we say, Mr. Say, you qualify for 20,000 or 100,000. Do you want these credits to maybe expand or extend your business? So that's why it's important that you regularly bank the funds you make from your business, because there are opportunities and initiatives we are rolling out to further support businesses that are behaving in a manner that is accordance to our funding policies. I hope that makes sense. Again, this conversation can't end in one presentation. That's why we are around today. When we network in the cocktail area, we are welcome to take any specific questions around funding, extension of credit, and investing in your businesses. Obviously, one of the most important, we give you a transactional account, you invest a little bit, we extend credit to you. It's also important now that you take up insurance. We have some of our insurance brokers in the room. You can also engage with them at the cocktail event. But it is important that if we fund your stock, now we have given you 2 million, you are starting a business, you are selling animal feed, have you insured your stock? If fire comes out, if it's stolen, it's important that you take up this so that you protect your business over unforeseen circumstances. Majority of our insurance is under brokerage, but we still extend insurance to businesses. And we have our brokers in the room today. We can engage them in the cocktail event as well, so we can see how we can leverage off of the insurance pillar. Perfect. We, as an organization, we keep speaking about financial inclusion, which is a very important aspect of First National Bank. That is why we develop all these world-class digital platforms. But one of the most important platforms that we are passionate about is Cash Plus. And I have already explained what it is in the earlier session. I'm happy to do so again. So Cash Plus is basically agency banking. You have a business, you have a service station, you have a retail shop. So we give you the ability to accept deposits and give out withdrawals to our mass clients. So they can come to your service station and you can accept deposits on our behalf, or you can give them withdrawals on our behalf as an agent, and then we give you commission for that. So as a business, we are not saying do that for free. We are giving you commission for every transaction you do as a Cash Plus agent. So the basic requirements are simple. Number one, obviously you need to have an account with us. Number two, you need to have an establishment that is rich in footprint and cash, because it's a cash-intensive agency partnership. So if you don't have cash, it will be challenging, but customers can then come to your shop. When they buy bread, they then withdraw a $10 or a $50, or they can come to your shop and deposit this cash. What it does to your business is, apart from the benefit of the commission will pay out to you, you also now have more foot coming into your shop. So this person can come to just withdraw a deposit. They will end up buying a bread. They will end up buying something else that they organically would not do when they do a financial transaction. The entire objective is also to, in areas where we can't put up a branch, I will say, for example, Ondobe, in the Ongwediva region. We do not have a branch in Ondobe, but we have one of our most performing Cash Plus agents. So that agent had become the F&B branch for Ondobe now. Customers would go there, they deposit and withdraw. But that agent is also now enjoying increased sales, because these customers are not just depositing and withdrawing. When they go there, they are buying lunch, they are buying something else. So if you want to be a Cash Plus agent, you can speak to me. I'm very well versed with the product, and then we can discuss how we can extend this agencyship to your business. For the interest of time, this is the most important one, which is relevant to what we're discussing today. We are speaking about the Africa Free Trade. We are here with the Namibia Trade Forum, and I've said in the morning session that the concept of foreign exchange is very important. For those that are familiar with CMA, we have now the common monetary countries like South Africa, Lesotho. We are now paying through foreign exchange. We are not paying directly anymore, and that is why this element is important. If you are doing any sort of trading, South Africa, maybe even internationally, we have instruments and tools through our customer foreign currency accounts, through our global accounts option, and through our global market solutions. So we cater to all these solutions. And I know that the Limpopo delegation, somebody had asked me a direct question in the earlier engagement, and we can almost do anything as long as it's finance related. If you want to send money to the US or to China or to South Africa, we will facilitate that. We can share details on who is the specialist to contact. But under global accounts, you can open your own global account. If you want to trade directly within the US dollar or the pound, you can have that so that you can hedge your funds and not be able to get a daily rate. But again, if you stick around and you want more information around foreign exchange and global accounts, myself and my team will be around, and we will be happy to answer all questions. I've spoken about how beautiful our digital platforms are. I'll quickly speak about merchant solutions. So merchant solutions in simple is the devices where you swipe your cards. So for those that have shops or premises and you do not have a speed point, we have recently rolled out what we call a speedy. Unfortunately, I didn't bring one now, but it's almost like a cell phone. Some of you might have seen it in the shops where you make payment. A colleague of mine that I've came with from Windhoek had said, the North is too cash intensive, right? Almost everywhere you go, it's just cash payment that's accepted. So it's important that we elevate to a level where we have Solutions such as speed points, the one we have rolled out is cheaper, is targeted to smaller businesses, it's much more slicker, it's portable, you can move around with it. It's almost as big or as small as your cell phone. So it's very convenient, it does not print, it does e-receipting, so the customer can either get their receipt via an SMS or an email address, which is very convenient. Then you don't have to buy till roll papers anymore. It becomes also cheaper for your business. So again, we can engage further. I can give you more information about that. Perfect. And then, before I conclude, there's just something I wanted to speak about finally. I feel almost, I wouldn't say uncomfortable, but a female colleague should have done this one. So recently we have introduced what we call her banking. I mean, there has been conversations around the future is female. I don't think the future is female. They said female is now. Female is now. So in line with us having elected a female president, at the point we had both our CEOs were female, it was Nangola and Sepo. We have proper female representation in majority of organizations. But as a bank, we saw that there isn't enough representation or support for female entrepreneurs and business owners. We have rolled out a specific value proposition, a specific offering that targets female entrepreneurs and business people. For those that have been looking at the media, this has been advertised through and through, but I'm going to speak to it a little bit more. As much as we have this information at our booths, by the way, so both the inside and the outside booth, you can go and get a brochure to understand what's available. The whole idea is to support and grow female entrepreneurs and business people. We feel they have been excluded, and this is our effort to really be inclusive of all genders in the business fraternity. So this value proposition says her, so her stands for helping every woman rise. We are continuously developing this offering. The objective is for us to get as much market research and understand what it is that women require when they run their businesses. We have done some products offering around insurance, so there is handbag insurance. So your handbag content can be insured under this value proposition. There are special rates that are associated to things like getting access to a speed point machine. And we have also now introduced Smart Spender credit card. So if you're a female entrepreneur and you open your account under this leg, you can go to the branch, you can be scored, you can get access to a credit card that is specifically dedicated to you. Obviously, it's subjected to credit scoring, but once you qualify under this leg, you can then get a Smart Spender credit card under her banking. So we call it her banking. When you go to the branch, please ask them to open your account under her banking for the female entrepreneurs. Then you get all the benefits under this leg. There is a lot of benefits around it. You can please come to our stall and you can get more information. I think for the interest of time, I'd like to introduce my colleagues. Colleagues, can you please rise so that the audience can know who to ask the very important questions? I know some of them will be challenging, but we will accept any question and we will happily engage you. So this is our commercial regional manager. Should I start with myself? Again, even the mayor knows my name. Okay, my name is Otinio Ndivaele. I'm the SME Business Development Manager. I'm based in Windhoek, but I support initiatives like this to the bone. So this is our commercial regional manager for the Far North area. Her name is Mirha. So if your manager in your branch is not responding to you, she's the person you call. I didn't want to say it like that, but I had to say it like that. So the people I'm going to introduce are her direct leadership, under her direct leadership. I'm short-sighted. Okay, so behind, that's Karina Matthews. So she looks after business relationship manager. She looks after Opuo, Okahao, and Otapi. They must come in front. Colleagues, the mayor has given an instruction, please. So you can switch on the light now. I'm done with the presentation. I mean, in fact, I think they can introduce themselves, eh? Yeah. Yeah, colleagues, for the interest of time. Can I continue talking? I'll stand here. Okay, perfect. So there are a lot more colleagues on the ground. We couldn't leave their stand unattended, but these ones had to be here. So I'll start with their boss.
Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mirka Kaingunga. I'm the Far North Regional Manager for Commercial Banking. Yes, maybe I should tell you what my strategic objective is. It's to enable entrepreneurs to grow their businesses to create a sustainable Namibian economy. So the area that I'm responsible for runs all the way from Rundu to Opuo, all the way back to Omthia, and then back to Ongwediva and Oshakati. I have this wonderful team before me. I've got 7 relationship managers that are based in various areas. There are some that are not here. The Rundu representation is not here. They are busy attending to business a little bit far. But yes, I'm joined by the other 6 relationship managers. Maybe they can also introduce themselves. You need to introduce yourself. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Margaret David, and I'm responsible for the Ongwediva and Omthia branch. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tarana. I'm a commercial relationship manager, Oshikango, Enana, and Okongo. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Leonard Amakali. I'm responsible for the commercial part.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alan Matengu. I look after Ondangwa commercial clients.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Desdarius Chairman Jafunde, responsible for Oshagadi branch. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Karina Matthew. I'm responsible for Otapi, Okahao, and Opuo.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Annalise Adams. I'm a home loans consultant.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sharonette Ikwambi, responsible for short-term insurance throughout the whole of Namibia.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Neoma Henrik, responsible for insurance the whole of Namibia.
Yeah, so this is the team that makes the dream work. There was a gentleman, colleagues, thank you. There was a gentleman who had asked a home loan specific question in the morning engagement. This is the lady, look for the Chirumbu from Home Loans. She will assist you. That brings my presentation to an end. Thank you very much for listening to me. For the interest of time, is it okay if we say questions can be asked during the cocktail engagement? Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ms. Ndevaele, for that wonderful presentation and taking so much of our time. But I think it was a good call for you to, of course, call on all the interested people who want to ask questions to, of course, then visit their stall for more questions. Now going to call on the next presentation, and that will be done by Ms. Victoria Weyulu. Ms. Victoria is the Senior Manager for that is Trade Facilitation at the Namibia Revenue Agency, and she is going to speak on key instruments for private sector facilitation. A round of applause to her as we welcome her for a presentation. I am also reliably informed by the team from NBC that we have now moved to NBC Channel 2 And for everyone who is not present here today, who couldn't make it, we're also live on NBC Digital News, that is on Facebook as well as YouTube. So you can then share the link to anyone who is not present here to, of course, then
Thank you very much, Director of Proceedings. Is my voice audible? Thank you very much. Otwatokerwa pongona wa omeme no tate anangeshefa. Omwatokerwa ponawa. Anoshike mwamwena. Let's start again. Omwatokerwa pongona wa omeme no tate anangeshefa. Iya lo. Thank you very much. Now, eon datokerwa ponawa. Before I introduce myself, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to recognize the presence of the Deputy Minister, Honorable Generally. Please, thank you very much for being in our midst. And also allow me to thank His Worship the Mayor, and also Mayor Rebecca. She's gone. Okay, she's on the ground. Thank you very much for welcoming us not only to the annual Ongwediva Trade Fair, but to Ongwediva, which is also my hometown. The distinguished delegation from Limpopo, I assume that's in South Africa, right? Welcome, colleagues. But I also want to give a very warm round of applause and welcome to the business representatives from private sector that are here today. Because indeed, those are the people that I want to have a dialogue with, that I want to connect with tonight. So thank you very much for having me, ladies and gentlemen. Now, no, it's okay. No, it's okay. Now, my name is Victoria Weyulu. I don't know if the slide, but I serve in the Namibia Revenue Agency. So we call ourselves the men and women in navy blue with white and a touch of orange. So you'll already know, if you see these colors, that I'm from the Namibia Revenue Agency. But specifically in the Namibia Revenue Agency, I'm responsible for a division that we call Trade Facilitation and Customs Procedures. Now, in her earlier remarks, is it Memirha from FNB? She said the theme for this year's annual Ongwediva Trade Fair is innovation, connection, isn't it? And now, this is really what trade facilitation does. Trade facilitation is a tool to spearhead connection between different parties, whether the connection is amongst public sector, in other words, among government agencies, or whether that connection is with the private sector, which is all of you in the room today. So in the very little 15 minutes that I've been given, these are some of the areas I wanted to take you through. So you are thinking, yes, NamRA, what can you tell us except for refunds? These are the areas I want us to talk through, and very quickly, those areas include a short discussion about what is the broader NamRA mandate, apart from just revenue collection. Secondly, I want to talk to you a little bit more about what does it mean when we are talking about trade facilitation. The Honorable Deputy Minister put it so well. She said, when we are talking about trade facilitation, we are talking about promoting trade, about accelerating trade, which is your businesses, isn't it? Now, I want to talk about what is NamRA's role when it comes to trade facilitation. That will then be followed by practical examples of the tools that we use to facilitate trade. And those tools then include the e-tariff tool, which stands for electronic tariff tool. It will also be instruments such as the one-stop border posts, and that will be followed by another example on the authorized economic operator program. After then I'm done giving you those practical examples, I would want us to talk about preferential trade agreements. Both the minister and I think the colleagues from FNB have been talking about the AFCFTA, right? So I want to talk a little bit more. What do those agreements mean for you as members of the private sector? I will then conclude that discussion with rules of origin certificates and explain what they do when it comes to preferential trade agreements, and then I'll call it a day. And then, as my gentleman from the former presentation said, Mr. Ndiavale, we can connect at the cocktail session. So are we all good? Are we ready? Very good. Thank you so much. Excellent. Now, yesterday I was at the, they call it Katutura, at the back there. And I heard someone says, yeah, these NamRA colleagues, my refund, ABCD. Now, contrary to popular belief, NamRA is not just an institution that collects revenue. It's a very important part of our mandate, that's true, but it's not the only thing that we do. Now, what I've highlighted here for you are some of our functions in terms of our establishing legislation. And some of those core mandates speak to trade facilitation and improving compliance. Now, when it comes to trade facilitation, our legislation specifically says, NamRA, you are required to provide customs and excise services that facilitate trade and services that protect Namibian borders from the illegal importation and exportation of goods. That's one. The second, in promoting compliance, the legislation says, please improve service delivery to taxpayers. And here in the customs space, when we are talking about taxpayers, we are talking about traders, which are you, right? So that we can now promote compliance with revenue laws. So our mandate, ladies and gentlemen, exceeds just revenue collection. So as you see, I introduced myself as the senior manager responsible for trade facilitation. And that must show you that trade facilitation is really something that we prioritize within the Namibia Revenue Agency. Now, moving on to the next slide. This is where I want to explain. We keep talking about trade facilitation. What do you mean when you are talking about trade facilitation? Now, on this slide, I have highlighted 4 key pillars. 4 key pillars that underscore the meaning of trade facilitation. And in the first place, when we are talking about trade facilitation, we are saying we want transparency. What is transparency? What do you think is transparency? Since we are having a dialogue, masters of ceremonies, I can engage the team, the audience, isn't it? So what do we mean by transparency? What does transparency mean for you as your business? Yes, please. Go ahead. Yes, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello. Transparency to me means it's see-through. If I need it and if I'm in need of the information, it's easily accessible. I can get it.
Very good. Yes, that's really what transparency means. She's very right. Transparency means we need to disclose information. Information must be readily available. That's a key pillar for trade facilitation. And there are different ways in which you can make sure that information is available. I know that there's a presentation after this one which will deal with the Namibia Trade Portal by the Ministry of International Relations and Trade. And that's a very key way for ensuring transparency and again promoting trade facilitation. The few other pillars deal with simplification, standardization, and harmonization. It's one thing to provide the information, isn't it? But the information must be simple. It must be simplified so that a layperson can understand what am I required to do to comply with the revenue laws, isn't it? So that's a very key aspect for trade facilitation. And then we move on to standardization and harmonization. What that says is that we must align our laws. So whether it is the laws of NamRA, whether it is the laws of immigration, right? Because we are all border agencies, right? We must align at national level. But it also says across the borders, with countries especially with whom we share a border, we also need to harmonize. We need to standardize. including with South Africa as well, so that now we can do what His Worship the Mayor says. When you are crossing into another country, it doesn't feel as if there's too much bureaucracy. And that's why these key pillars are really key for trade facilitation. Now, I want to go a little bit more specific here in the next slide, and I want to point out, now we have understood the 4 key pillars, but what does NamRA do when it comes to those pillars? What is NamRA's role there? And these are then the 5 things that I've highlighted on the screen for you. Now, in the first place, we are saying for us as NamRA, trade facilitation means we need to modernize our customs procedures. How do we do that? How do we modernize our customs procedures? Firstly, we have to introduce electronic submission of goods declarations. You know that for your businesses, right, especially for commercial transactions, you are required to declare goods, isn't it? How do you declare goods in NamRA? What do you use? Who trades across borders? What do you use for declaring your goods? None of the colleagues. You only trade locally in Ongwediva. Aha. But the minister has given us a challenge, isn't it? She says she wants to see our goods not just here, but across not just regional borders, international borders. That's what she said. So when you are at that stage of trading your goods across international borders, you are going to use a system that we call Asikuda World. Asikuda World facilitates the electronic submissions of goods declarations whenever you import or export goods, right? But also another aspect here under modernizing customs procedures is to say we must allow for pre-clearance processing of goods declaration. What that means is that even before you import or export, you have already submitted your documents electronically, they have been processed, any duties have been paid, so that when you come to the border, your goods are going seamlessly. This is what it means when it comes to trade facilitation. In the second place, how do we increase transparency and predictability? We said that's a key pillar for trade facilitation, isn't it? Now, one of the things we are saying here is, yes, we have to publish import, export, and transit requirements, etc. And I'm very happy that that presentation after mine is coming on the Namibia Trade Portal. Because yes, it's a government-owned initiative. And as a government-owned initiative, it means every agency that is involved in the import and export of goods has to provide information so that it's on that portal for you to see. All right? So this is why this is important. In the third place, we said, yes, we are publishing, we are modernizing, but we also have to improve the clearance of goods, isn't it? Now, here we were talking about simplification of customs procedures. And even before I go to that slide, I think I can talk about it now so we save on time. When we are talking about improving clearance of goods, here we are really talking about coordination. We are talking about cooperation. And it's something that I'm very passionate about because it's something I love. We are talking about what we call coordinated border management. And that's a very big word, but all it means is that border agencies in Namibia, please work together so that we simplify processes. And how do we do that? Namibia has started this thing of what we call implementing one-stop border posts. Who has heard what a one-stop border post means? Anyone? I know Ongwediva is not really a port of entry, but I'm sure you must have heard of it. You don't take your goods to Oshikango, to Rundu, to Ngoma, to Mamuno. All right, very good. Now, as you are going to now, get yourself ready to trade under regional and international means. You are going to have to use a port of entry to take your goods through, isn't it? Whether it's by plane, whether it's by sea, whether it's by road, all of those are ports of entry. Now, when we are talking about one-stop border posts, these are initiatives between countries with whom you share a common border to say that when I come from the Namibian side of the border, me as a private sector company, with my goods, my vegetables and my apples, I'm taking them to Botswana, right? I must only stop once. Currently, the practice is I have to stop on the Namibian side to do exit formalities, whether for immigration purposes, whether for good purposes. I must first stop on the Namibian side. Now, once I exit the Namibian side, I come back and then I have to stop on the Botswana side, isn't it? Ne? Now, with one-stop border posts, when we come to simplifying customs procedures, we are saying you stop once. So countries must decide, where are you going to stop? Is it in Namibia or in Botswana? So there are different models to use, and I hope you'll get a chance to go to Botswana at that Trans-Kalahari and Mamuno border post, so you see what model we have used there. The same concept we are replicating at the Katima Mulilo border post with Zambia, and we are also finalizing our bilateral agreement with Angola at Oshikango and Santa Clara, and very soon we are in talks with South Africa to do the same. But South Africa is saying, we don't want a no-stop border post. They don't want a one-stop border post, they want no-stop border post. Yes. So those are the discussions that we are having when it comes to simplifying customs processes. So in the last, I think I've spoken already to enhanced cooperation. There is no need for me to repeat there. And then the last one, in terms of support for trusted traders. I really like that F&B had the opportunity to go before my presentation, because this makes this one so easy. Support for trusted traders means our private clients as a customs administration. It means our private clients who meet high compliance standards in such a way that we have developed a relationship of trust between us and them, and then we give them and award them certain trade facilitation benefits. This program, I know F&B will tell you, we call it the private wealth, ne? Private wealth, private clients, we call it the Authorized Economic Operator Program. So for us, when you're an authorized economic operator, we are simply saying this: we are going to give you additional benefits to facilitate your businesses. And of course, we'll come to that so that we speak about what those requirements are. Are we together so far, or am I too fast? We are together. Very good, very good. Thank you so much. So in this next slide here, I quickly want to go back. Now, we are talking about, yes, we are going to use the Asikuda system to register my goods declarations. Now we are saying, to make it easier for you, right? We have developed what we call an e-tariff tool. An e-tariff tool is a digital platform for NamRA. So you put in the word of saying, for example, what do you want to import? Give me an example. What do you want to import or export? Yes. Flex seeds. Very good. So you put in flex seeds. You go to the NamRA website, you look for the e-tariff tool link, and then you type in the search button flex seeds. You know what it will give you? It will give you what we call an HS code. Now, when you are declaring goods on Asikuda, you are required to give a commodity description of that good, isn't it? So for every good you import or export across borders, you need to describe the good. And there are rules for how goods must be described. And these rules are then what we call HS codes. They are called Harmonized System for the Classification of Goods. That's the long version. But we just say HS codes. Now, if the commodity is flax seeds, for example, you will then be able to see what is the correct commodity code, and then also what are the values, the duties associated with that commodity. So that when you are now registering your goods declaration, it's simple for you, isn't it? Ordinarily, that is a skill that we only leave to what we call clearing agents. Because clearing agents go for training for these things, isn't it? But now we are giving you this knowledge at your fingertips for you to explore. So whenever now you are thinking, man, Namibia said they launched the first trade under the AFCFTA. What was that commodity that they exported when Namibia launched the trade on the 30th? It was salt, ne? Yes, from Walvish Bay salt, ne? So now you want to know, man, can I also export salt there? You go to this tool, you say, okay, what is the commodity? What are the duties? This is what this tool will tell you. It helps you simplify, how do I describe goods? How do I assign values to those goods? Okay? So, in the next slide, I have already touched on this topic of how do we enhance cooperation with the one-stop border post. So I'm not going to go back to this one. And then in the next slide as well, I've also talked about our private wealth program, which is the Authorized Economic Operator program, right? So this one, we can discuss it outside at the cocktail, but remember, NamRA is always connecting. So we are also here at the Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair. We have colleagues who are there. I can't call them like F&B, unfortunately, because they are there. But we have brochures that will tell you, how do I become a private client for the Namibia Revenue Agency under this program? Now, very, very quickly, before I hand over the slot, Mr. Program Director, I want us to come back to this issue of preferential trade agreements. Now, we are all talking about the AFCFTA. But there are other agreements that I want you to make use of when you are thinking of exporting your goods across borders. And these are those agreements that give you preferences in terms of duties. Now, what do we mean by preferences? What you normally do is you say, okay, if I'm exporting goods to China or importing, their duties applicable, isn't it, 100%? Now, when the government concludes a preferential trade agreement with a country or a group of countries, it is saying that we are going to reduce the 100% of duties, maybe 40%, maybe 25%, and in many cases, 0%. This is what preferential trade agreements do. And this is why we are able to say, now I can export my salt to the Nigerian market because it's easier for me to do so. It's cheaper because the duties have been decreased, isn't it? And these now are some of those agreements that give you preferential duty rates whenever you are importing or exporting. I've listed those 6 here, right? So we have the EU SADC EPA, which is the Economic Partnership Agreement, which says that if you are going to import or export anything to the EU market, there's preferences in terms of duty for you. Same thing with the UK SACUM EPA. This is now an agreement between the SACUM member states and the UK. Remember, because the UK left EU, isn't it? And then we continue now with 4 other countries under they call themselves the European Free Trade Association. That's Luxembourg and all those countries. We also have an economic partnership agreement with them. And then the rest, Mercosur, where you have Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, and then the AFCFTA, and then of course SADC, right? But I left one agreement out of these 6. Which one is those ones that I've left out? That will directly benefit you when you are importing or exporting your goods, and that's the best one, because it means there are no duties under that agreement for you. Which one is that one? Which one is that one? No, the AFCFTA is here. The AFCFTA is here. Which one did I leave out? Which one? Business practitioners. Business practitioners. Which one is it? Yes, ma'am. Please speak louder. You are right. Speak louder, ma'am, with the red. Yes, don't be shy. They said we must connect and engage and dialogue. What did you say? You said SACU. And indeed, it is SACU. SACU is one of the oldest customs union in the world. The only reason we call it a customs union is because we maintain a common external tariff, right? Meaning whatever comes in, we regulate. But for us here, this is the best agreement that supports your businesses. So if it means you need raw products from South Africa, right? From Botswana, from Eswatini, from Lesotho, you get it at what? Duty free. Duty free. Of course, VAT is payable, right? But it still means you get it duty free. Now, what I wanted to do, because everyone is looking at me and saying, you are speaking a lot of English words, we don't understand, A, B, C, D. I tried to make something very practical for purposes of this discussion, right? Just give me a moment. Is this clear? Now, I was looking at the context of the North where we are operating. And I asked myself, what are 3 of the most important things that we use here in the North in terms of cross-border trade? Now, I hope you know, as business practitioners, that Namibia imports a lot of wheat, imports a lot of maize, in order for us to supplement the domestic market. Because we don't make enough. Unfortunately, we don't. So we import to supplement. So I've tried to give an example here to say, okay, if you are going to import wheat, let's start with SACU. You see here at SACU, it says everything is free. I've put the commodities here on your, this is your left. So I've put the commodities here. You see, I've put wheat, and I put a number that I say HS code, that I got from the E2. Then I put potatoes, because Namibia also imports quite a few potatoes, believe it or not. Despite us trying to grow the local industry, we still import potatoes for us to make up for local demand. And then we continue for clothing. Clothing is also a very important commodity in the North, isn't it? Yes, and that is the HS code for, because now you need to specify what kind of clothing. So I put here as an example, men and boys suits. And then we go down, I said smartphones. We also import quite a few electronics here in Namibia, isn't it? And then the last one, petrol. Now, I've tried to give a table here to show you the impact of those trade agreements on what we import based on what is on our needs, isn't it, right? So if you look at the wheat, for example, let's start on the other side. If you are going to import it from any 54 countries, remember there are 54 countries who've signed the AFCFTA, except for one. We have 55, but one didn't yet. So if you are going to import wheat from any country under the AFCFTA, no duties. That's why it says free. Now you go to SACU, always no duties. You go then to SADC, free. Then you go to Mercosur, which is Argentina, Brazil, free. You go to SACUM UK, Economic Partnership Agreement, you'll import free duties, and the same with the UK and the EU. But now things start getting a bit tricky when it's different products. Let's go to the potatoes. Now, in the potatoes, it says, if you are going to import potatoes under the AFCFTA from any 55 or 54 of the African countries, you are going to pay 22 cents per kg that you import. Yes, that's what it says. That's what it says, in your schedules, in your legislation. It says, if you are importing potatoes from South Africa, you will pay 22 cents, South African cents, Namibian cents, in the dollar per kg. SACU, I said South Africa, my apologies, because South Africa is always free, because it's in SACU. Yes, South Africa is always free, yeah. In terms of duties, duties. And then you continue, SADC, free. How many countries do we have under the SADC agreement? Business representatives, how many countries do we have under SADC? It was here on one of the slides. We have 16 countries under the SADC agreement. And it's important for you to know those countries so that you know where to source your raw materials from for purposes of your businesses. Because this is what it comes down to, right? Then Mercosur, when you are importing potatoes, what does it say? If you must get potatoes from Brazil or Argentina or Uruguay, you are going to pay 44 cents per kg of each quantity that you import. Now, what I'm trying to do here is simply to give you an appreciation for what preferential trade agreements do, right? Here, general, when I say general, that means anywhere else where Namibia does not have an agreement. So if we are talking about China, and this is a classic example when it comes to clothing, for example. You see there, the third one says clothing, men and boys suits, HS code 6103.10. The general duty on clothes is 40%. And when we say 40%, we are talking on free on board. So if the customs duties are 100%, right? If customs duties is $100, and you are importing clothing, men and boy suits from China, you are going to pay 40% of the duties. Are we together? But now, look elsewhere. EU SADC EPA, they are saying 24%, like that. Under SADC, always free. Under SACU, always free. So this is the opportunity where you have, at forums such as this, to engage your policymakers to say, look, for purposes of the North, Ongwediva, whatever economic, whatever community we are, we import a lot, we rely a lot on ABCD. Are we not able to engage China, India, to say, can we please have a preferential trade agreement to support our businesses? So this is what I'm trying to refer to, right? So at platforms such as this, the minister is here, and it's a good platform to engage minister and say, Minister, are there any plans for India? Because I source a lot of my goods from India. Ne? So this is why we are here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, as I'm closing, I'm closing now in 5 minutes, Director of Proceedings. I quickly want to touch on something that is key, a tool that enables you to trade under all those agreements. And this is what we call the Rules of Origin Certificate. Now, remember, the agreements are between, for example, Namibia and the EU or SACU, right? But you need to verify that this is indeed a Namibian product for you to be able to get 24% off on the men and the boys' suits. Otherwise, ne, you are going to pay 40%, isn't it? Ne? So you need to certify that, okay, this is a Namibian commodity. When I export it, I will not pay duties because Namibia has a preferential trade agreement with the EU. Now, you apply for this certificate, and it uses different methodology that is globally accepted to determine, is this indeed Namibian, is this from somewhere, depending on the inputs that you get. Once you get that certificate, that is then when you are able to use the preferential duty rates under those agreements. So when you are ready to trade, as the minister has directed, at regional, international level, come to us. Come to us to assist you to get a Rules of Origin certificate for purposes of exporting your goods so that you can indeed be able to get those preferential duty rates. I think, Master of Directors, will you give me more time? Or should I stop here? I should not stop here. Everyone likes NamRA. Thank you. The minister has given me a pass. The Honorable Minister is giving me a pass. Because there's just something I want to touch on before I leave this forum today. And I know the colleagues are outside, and please, when you go to them, there's much more that we do apart from processing refunds. There's a lot we can do for your businesses, and those are the things I want you to engage the colleagues outside. You've seen their stand, isn't it? Our stand. Who of you have asked them anything apart from refunds? If you, please, anyone. So these are the things that you must go and engage the colleagues on. Mewayulu said something about HS codes, e-tariff 2. Those are the things I want you to speak on. So while the minister has quickly given me the floor, I want to talk about something that's important. Exemptions and rebates. So sometimes there are no preferences in terms of duties. Ne? You saw the general column. Now, for SACU member states, what we have done is we maintain similar customs and excise legislation. And what that says is whatever I do in Namibia is the same that happens in South Africa, same that happens in Eswatini, like that, right? Now, in terms of our acts, these are some of the things I want to highlight for you. Firstly, if you look at our Schedule 3, Schedule 3 says we will give you industrial rebates for specific industrial and manufacturing activities. Rebates, when we talk of rebates, we are talking about like reduced duties. Ne? We are talking about reduced customs duties. So it says here under Schedule number 3 that NamRA will be able to grant you rebates for specific industrial processes or manufacturing activities, such as for food and beverages, textiles and clothing, automotive and chemicals. So these are the industries in where we give reduced import duties, so that you can, it's like a discount, if you can call it that. But in the customs language, we call it rebates. So I want to give a practical example. How can I say this? Which one of you maybe is involved in producing textiles? Anyone? Yeah, clothing, material. You are, ma'am. Very good, Very good. So in terms of this, it says here that if you want to import certain raw materials to support your textile business, you can apply for what we call a rebate under Schedule 3. Of course, there are conditions to meet, but these are the things I want us to be talking about, not just refunds. Because these things are key for your businesses. And at the end of the term, your business is the one who's going to employ me, my sister, isn't it? So we care about what happens to your business. When we continue now to Schedule 4, here we are saying we'll give you general discount on customs duties. And remember, this is not just Namibia. We are saying it's the entire SACU market. So under Schedule 4, we are saying we'll give you general benefits that have nothing to do with the industry or with manufacturing. And those discounts come when you are importing goods for a temporary period. I don't know, who is an exhibitor here at the Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair? Who had to import things? Ah, it's Jessica. How are you? You are an exhibitor here. Did you have to import anything for purposes of exhibitions? You made them from scratch. Now, if you had to import, let's say my colleagues from Limpopo were bringing something to exhibit for the Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair. Now remember, it's almost like an import, But under Schedule 4, we are saying for specific purposes, if you are bringing in goods for a temporary period, and especially if it's for exhibitions, we will rebate, we will give you a discount on your duties. So this is what we are saying here. We are also saying then under Schedule 4, when you are a traveler, there are certain rebates that you get, and this one is under here, duty-free allowance for travelers. So when you travel, my colleagues from Limpopo will know, because when they are coming in and out, you are given a duty-free allowance for $5,000. That says you can buy anything at the Ongwediva Annual Trade Fair, and when you take it home, you will not be charged duties. As long as it's not more than 5,000. If it's more than 5,000 up to 20,000, whatever you buy, we will then apply a 20% duty rate, which is still better, because imagine what if you bought men and boy suits that are 40%. You see where I'm going now, Yes. So if you bought clothing, men and boy suits, and they're not more than 20,000, then we will say we'll apply a flat rate of 20%. That's what we do in terms of Schedule 4. Now moving on very quickly to Schedule number 5. Schedule number 5 deals with drawbacks. When we are talking about drawbacks, we are talking about refunding you what you have paid because you have imported something that is not being used in the domestic market but is being used for export purposes. Was that clear? So in a sense, what you are saying is you are importing raw materials to manufacture, produce something that is intended for export, right? And this is where we say in certain cases, you can then qualify for a refund on the duties that you have paid. And then in the last place, Schedule 6 and 7, almost the same. So in the last place here under Schedule 6, we are also talking about refunds. But here we are talking about refunds for excise goods. What are excise goods, business owners? What are excise goods? Who knows what excise goods are? Yes. You know what they call syntax. What is syntax? It's actually called excise duties. Excise duties are additional duties for luxury goods like alcohol, spirits, cigarettes, and things like that. Now, again, with Schedule number 5, here under 6, we are saying, if you manufacture goods that are subject to excise duties for which you have paid, there are cases where you'll be able to get a drawback on what you have paid. So, ladies and gentlemen, when you go to NamRA, it's not just refunds. Ask them, how can, I want to exhibit next year at the Ongwediva Trade Fair and I want to bring in goods from elsewhere. Must I pay duties? Ask them those kind of questions. Questions that build your businesses. Are we together, please? Ne? We are together? I think then, Director of Proceedings, this concludes my presentation. I think I just want to underscore what every speaker here has said, what the regional manager from F&B has said, what His Worship have said, what the Deputy Minister have said. This must become a platform to connect, a platform to engage. But let us engage meaningfully on things that build your businesses. You know, it's almost very disappointing because when they see you in navy blue and orange, they are almost scared to greet you. Ne? Yes, they are almost scared to greet you. They think, this one, yeah. Ne? But I love questions. I love questions. I want us to engage. Please talk to us. Like F&B says, how can we help you help your businesses? So that is really why this was very important for me to come all the way from head office to come and talk to you about what it is I do and also what it is that NamRA can offer you and your businesses. I think the colleagues have mentioned that the presentation will be shared. Our contact details are also there, but the NamRA colleagues are also sitting there. Please ask them about anything else apart from refunds. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. A bigger round of applause to Ms. Wayulu, please. Thank you so much for your expert knowledge on this and also your great, insightful presentation. Honorable Deputy Minister, please protect me when the organizing team beats me up for time management. And now we're going to have the next presentation, which is going to be our last one for tonight. And that will be done by Ms. Rosalia Heita. She is a policy analyst at the Ministry of International Relations and Trade. A round of applause to her as she gives us her presentation that will be on the National Trade Portal. And I just know that she's going to do it very quickly for us to end this night early.
Good evening, everyone. Let me acknowledge the presence of my Deputy Minister, Your Worship, the Mayor, Ms. Hidulika, the Regional Manager of F&B. Thank you for sponsoring us, and everybody that's here. Business community in the North. We are very, very happy to have you here. My presentation is tailor-made for you. Which way do I press? Forward? Okay, I'm in the old era. I'm presenting to you the Namibia Trade Information Portal. I'm going to make it short and simple because the presenter before me did an amazing job. She covered most of the things that I had to tell you. But there is one thing that she certainly could not cover, and it's one of the, it's covered in the theme, Connect. And I want you, the business community, to connect through this trade portal. Down here. Where is it? Where is the cursor? Perfect. Okay. All right. My apologies for that. Now, the Namibia Trade Information Portal, the ministry figured, I am sure many of you have been to ministries or stakeholders where you need information and you were either transferred to another person without explanation, or you went to an office, you didn't get assistance, and you felt frustrated, right? I know that experience. I worked in customer care before, so I know what it's like to really get the assistance that you need. Right. Why do we need the trade portal? The trade portal is the WTO, the World Trade Organization, has mandated all countries to have, that according to the trade facilitation, to have a trade information portal to ensure that the information is out there, transparency. So it promotes that transparency for Namibia. So whatever you need that is business related, import, exports, transit information, it's all in there. You should just visit the portal. I will provide the link later at the end of my presentation, and you can always talk to me. But please do visit. I will get to the very exciting part. It also simplifies the trade rules. It allows you to have access to application forms. The fees that you are required to pay when you are doing business, acts, standards that are required for specific products. There are so many amazing products that I have seen when I have visited the different booths around the trade fair. We need to take these products out there. And some of you may not know what these requirements are for you to export these products. We don't have platforms like this that provides you the information to be able to take your business from SMEs to grow and export. We want you to export. We have good products in Namibia. We need to take them out there. Okay, I said I was gonna make it short. It also reduces costs and time. You know how much time it is? You waste a lot of time if you go to one place to another, as I have explained earlier, and your money is also wasted because you are sent to the Ministry of Agriculture, and then someone sends you, okay, you need another permit for your product, so you need to go to the Ministry of International Relations and Trade. So now, instead of you having to visit the different institutions, you just need to visit the portal. It's all there for you. Okay, I'm going to the wrong side. Now we have something that is the game changer, which is the business connector. The business connector allows you to put your information out there on the portal as an exporter or an importer so that you are seen. Let's say you have your marula oil or you have your, I would love you guys to please start exporting omagungu. I don't know what it's called in, no, not omagungu, omahanja. I don't know what it's called in English, but I'm sure there is somebody out there that would love to taste that delicacy from Namibia. Now, there's someone out there looking for that. Put your information on the business connector, and then they will locate you. They will contact you. Then you can do business. However, it's important to know that there are scammers out there. There is a disclaimer from the ministry that as much as we are trying to connect you to the community, we want you to be careful, to be safe, okay? So a business connector basically, in a nutshell, is a platform within the trade portal that allows you to connect with other traders. And traders can be people who want to buy, it can be people who want to sell to you, right? All you need are simple features. It's a very simple profile. You need your company profile. You don't have to upload anything because, like we said, it's not safe. You need the kind of products that you have to offer or that you need. And then you need, if you have, preferably you should have a website so that someone can go on your website and access your products, so that they can go on there, view through your catalogs, then you can do business. Okay, why should you join the Business Connector? It allows you that visibility. You have access to a larger market, because there are a lot of people who are out there on our portal. I will not be able to show you the amount of flows of the people that are visiting our portal, but they need you to connect. They need your information, because they're like, we don't have any businesses connected, registered on the portal. There are very few for now. So I'm waiting for you guys to register on the Business Connector. It also, by the way, we offer support on the portal. So if you're struggling to register, you can contact me. I am in charge of the portal under the Trade Policy Subdivision, under International Trade and Investment. But I am there to serve you. I am there to assist you and make sure that we put our products, our Namibian products, out there. Okay? Just simply register your business, like I've said. This is the link. It takes you directly to the registration page. However, the trade portal link itself, it will be on the next slide. All we're doing is asking you to register on the portal and make your business known to the world. And this is the important information that you need. I'm sure each and every one of you needs that. I need you to connect. You don't have to pay anything, and if you see somebody telling you that you are required to pay a fee to register on the portal, they are scamming you. You can also visit us in the KK Hall, the ministry's stall, stall number 12 and 13. We can give you more information. That brings me to the end of my presentation. I don't want to go to the next slide because it simply just thanks you for listening to me. Right.
Thank you so much, Ms. Heita, for that presentation. Thank you. As we mentioned earlier, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to rather get some of the presentations that were already done today, please, you can reach the team at the back. Just register your email address, and then you can get the copies of all the presentations today. You've been a very good audience this evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to close off on the event, or rather the forum this evening. But for that, we're going to have Mr. Robert Kaveto. He is the Namibia Trade Forum's Senior Policy Analyst, and he is going to get a bit in the details of the mandate of the Namibia Trade Forum, as well as also just give us his closing remarks. A round of applause to him as we welcome him on stage.
Good evening, Honorable Deputy Minister, Janelle Matundu. I would like to acknowledge your presence, and then His Worship Mayor of the Ongwediva town. Ladies and gentlemen, I would also to acknowledge also the presence of our delegate from Limpopo, and then the host, which is the Ongwediva Trade Fair host. My name is Robert Kaveto. I'm a senior policy analyst under the Namibia Trade Forum. I'll quickly highlight in terms of our mandate, in terms of what we do. We carry out dialogues, the dialogues between the private sector and then the government. Now, in terms of the dialogue that we carry out, it's a public-private dialogue. Now, those dialogue that we carry out, the ones that we deal with, the issues of international trade and domestic trade. Now, those ones, we have now pillars that are falling under that. One of the pillars is a pillar that we deal with trade in goods. With trade in goods, we are talking about tangible goods now. Now, with the tangible goods, now we are talking to the traders themselves. Let's isolate now the northern part, where we might be talking about agro-processing, maybe in the leather sector as well. So maybe it's the leather sector as well, and other, in terms of other products that we also produce within the northern part of Namibia. Now, in those ones, we normally talk to the traders or either the producers themselves to make sure that we also provide the platform for market access as well. How do you access the local market in terms of for you to sell your product? Now, in terms of market access locally, we are talking about the retail charter as well. That is is housed at Namibia Trade Forum. We are the secretary to that. Now, in terms of the retail charter, what do we do with the retail charter is that it helps us to facilitate your product to link it to the retailers. Now, what we have done with that is that the retailers have signatory to the retail charter to accommodate products that is produced within Namibia, so that they can also be shelved on the shelf space. That is now to give you access, market access to those products. Now, one of the pillars that we also deal with as a Namibia Trade Forum under our mandate is the one what we call trade-in service. Now, apart from the goods that we are talking about, when Ms. Weyulu spoke about the AFCFTA and other trade agreement, we are always concentrating on the trade-in goods. But we are saying, apart from that focus, let's also talk about trade-in service for those ones in the computer services, in other sectors as well. So they have to now to be given opportunity as well. Now, how do we deal with that? Is we deal with that in terms of now trade negotiations. When the Ministry of International Relations and Trade are going on trade negotiations, on some of last month they had trade negotiations whereby we are trying to harmonize the standard and the procedure in terms of those ones in the space of, let's say, quantity surveyor, for example, those ones who are based in South Africa. If you are certified in South Africa, they should also give you that platform so that they don't do assessments again for you to be subjected to other assessment in another country, for example, in Namibia. So those are the ones that we are busy with in terms of trading service. Now, the main mandate, when you look at the platform that we have here, we are very pleased to see the delegates from Limpopo to take that initiative, that commitment, so that when we talk about these issues of collaboration in terms of cross-border trade, let's take it serious in terms of now for us who are now local producers as well, and for us who want to connect in terms of now taking our product from Namibia to South Africa and vice versa. But we always consider to say, in terms of now also we have to appreciate some of the resources that we have at hand, whereby in terms of now the trade portal that was presented here recently, to say there are information at our fingertips. Previously, Namibia didn't have a functional trade portal where you can be able to check information remotely wherever you are, in terms of you now accessing the information in terms of requirement. Because whenever you want to trade, we always advise the trader to say, despite the beauty of your product crossing the border, we are saying you should be able to meet the requirements in the Namibian market, or either also looking at the requirements or the other side of the border where you want to send your product as well. So those are the issues that we should look at. And then we should also ensure that in terms of the rules of origin, when Weyulu was talking about the issue of the AFCFTA, we are saying the rules of origin must also be met in terms of what are the rules of origin. Rules of origin is simply like an ID to say where the product is coming from and all that. Now, all we are saying is that let's try by all means to make sure that all these requirements are met before we trade. And with those few words, I would like to thank you and also to wish you good deliberations in terms of the collaboration or the networking event that we're going to have this evening. I don't want to stand between you and your networking session. With those few words, I thank you.
Thank you so much. A big round of applause to Mr. Kaveto and the team for having done such a great work putting this event together, the Business Forum. Now, I was told that Fabrice is bored. He doesn't like to get into this business talks. But ladies and gentlemen, please, let's put our hands together for Fabrice as he gives us another performance before we close off tonight. A round of applause to Fabrice. Thank you so much. I think just a little sharpening that needs to be done, and I think we're going to have an even better evening this with this performance. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of the program. Thank you so much for having been with us. Please do not leave yet. I just want to ask then that we all just rise for the national and AU anthems, please. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for having been not only a great audience, but being part of this. This is history in the making. And now we are going to move on to the networking session, and that will be done in this very room. Gigi, can you just step out to indicate to some of us who will not be able to see? Just here on my right, we are going to have our networking session, and we are going to do it in an orderly and fashioned manner. Everything is actually prepared, well designed by the team, and there is enough for everyone, so please do not, of course, let's not be those people. But I would like to call on the Honorable Deputy Minister, also led by His Worship the Mayor.